All right. So here's the overlapping pendulum. Let's just go to the front view, spacebar 6. 30 frames a second, 61 frames, basically what I'm looking for. I'm going to select, I'm selecting the geometry in here. Let's put that in reference. Select the controls, and we're going to go extreme on this. Let's drop a key first. And let's rotate, 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 rotate. So it totally rotates on itself. Let's do -70. Let's go to the last frame. I'd right click on my viewport. I'd be popping S at the -70. Go halfway. Let's go +70. Now we have this big old swing. So now what I want is to get this overlapping so it has this reaction to itself, but I also want it to probably rotate in more and kind of roll it on itself, but not go above this line. This is kind of a very unnatural thing for something to be working, floating in midair and swinging back and forth. Doesn't mean it's not possible, but not really what's going to be happening. More kind of just hanging in place. Let's go to the graph editor. And we're going to do some offsetting first. So you want to select everything but the first frame. And I'm going to do that a frame. Deselect. 2 frames. Deselect. 3 frames. And the last one, 4 frames. And that's going to give you a pretty good overlapping motion already. A little bit more, way more kind of whip effect. But you can see it's popping because I forgot to cycle it. Select everything. Select everything. Cycle, cycle. There we go. Now I want to reduce some of the motion. Largely, these ones need to be reduced, the first 2, and the last 2 probably need to be increased. Let's take that first one. Let's scale it down to probably almost a quarter of the motion. So you got to find that 0 line, scale it down. And this one, probably about half. Now let's check it out. Looking a lot better. And like I said, I want to scale the next one in even more. So not I want this to roll in on itself. So let's select both of these, and I'm going to scale them up. See? And then the last one, scale that up. So it's really in on itself. Now it has that nice whip effect, and it's not penetrating. It looks like it might be penetrating itself a little bit. Let's find where it penetrates. Right there around frame 34. So let's tone this one back a little bit. So let's scale it down. There we go. Now we have a really cool whip effect. But it's going through the ceiling. So I've already toned down these 2. I haven't toned down this one. So if we actually select them all, except for the very last one, and you can see, let me see about, that's, I think that this one is this one. I am right. Let's just scale it down a little bit, and let's find where it's penetrating the roof the most. Here. Alright, so I'm going to scale that down a little bit. Now let's select all 3 of these. Let's get this one, that's the second one, a little bit more in the middle. Just so you're having this nice progression of the overlapping motion. And then maybe I can scale this one down a little bit, see if that even changes it. It looks like it is. And then if we have them all selected, they'll all get pretty big. I kind of want this one back a little bit back up. And I'll select these first 3. I'm going to scale them down together. Again, find where it's the worst. It's about here. And scale. Interesting. Oh, Gotta select the entire line. I only select the keys. There we go. Now it skims the thing and has that nice big overlapping motion. And if you select them all, you have this nice kind of echo effect of it kind of growing. Kind of a cool little visual. Lots of similar things that are happening, but what I'm really trying to do is get you comfortable understanding offsetting, understanding scaling, translating things in the graph editor. Like really, hopefully, the graph editor kind of makes more and more sense the more you work with it. Because right now that's complex, but it's like, oh, but if I only wanted to work on one, you select that, it's simpler, and then you can make it even more simpler by just selecting this one. So this thing can be overwhelming. So we work on small little things because it then hopefully gets less and less overwhelming and more manageable and more usable for you. That's my intent with all these little assignments. Let's frame it up. There we go. Save scene. Play blast.